This video is going to cover proteins in terms of their function and how amino acids join together to form a protein in condensation reactions. These are the learning outcomes from the higher course that are going to be covered in this video. So proteins have various roles in living things, such as structural functions, such as keratin in hair or collagen in skin. Muscle fibers can be made out of proteins called myosin, and also in our blood, the hemoglobin in our blood helps carry the oxygen around our body. The enzymes that are in our bodies that can act as biological catalysts are primarily made out of protein. So for example, those that do biology will be familiar with amylase, which will catalyze the breakdown of starch in our foods to maltose. And when we eat fat, the lipase in our bodies helps catalyze the hydrolysis, the breakdown of fat into glycerol and fatty acids. You can think of proteins as being big long polymers, and the monomers that make up the protein polymers are amino acids. These are the building blocks from which proteins are formed. They're fairly small molecules, but you should be able to recognize an amino acid by the presence of a carboxyl group, which you will recognize from the carboxylic acid part of the course. So they have a carboxyl group at one side, and at the other side we have an amino group, which contains a nitrogen bound to two hydrogens. Joining the amino group and the carboxyl group is a carbon. There's a hydrogen attached to the carbon, as well as an R group. The R group is the group that differs for different amino acids. So what makes amino acids different from each other is what's attached here. It could be a hydrogen, it could be a methyl group, it could be a hydroxyl group, and so on. And there are about 20 different amino acids that you'll find in the body. So this is the general structure of an amino acid. The clues in the name, if you like, we've got an amino group and a carboxylic acid group, hence amino acid. Here are 4 examples of amino acids. You can see that at the left-hand side of each molecule, we have this NH2, the amino group. At the right-hand side of each molecule, we have a carboxyl group. These are joined by a carbon in the middle, which is a hydrogen down below. And what makes glycine and alanine and serine and asparagine different is this R group. So glycine has H in its R group, alanine has a methyl group, serine has a CH2 with a hydroxyl group there, and asparagine has an amino group and what we call a carbonyl group, a C double bond O here. Proteins can be considered to be polymers made up of many amino acid monomers linked together by condensation reactions. In these reactions, the amino group of one amino acid and the carboxyl group of another amino acid join with the elimination of water. So if we circle a molecule of water between 2 amino acids, so if I take the hydrogen from the amino group and the OH from the carboxyl group of another amino acid and do the same between the other 2 amino acids, we can release our 2 molecules of water. Having removed the water, we need to link the amino acids together. So we need to link the C double bond O with NH to create what's called a peptide link. So this C double bond O NH is called a peptide link, which is also known as an amide link. This is a link you'll need to recognize in the higher course. So if you see a C double bond O NH present in a molecule, that's a clue that we've got a peptide or an amide link. One of the things you'll need to be able to do is draw the structural formula of a section of protein if you're given the structural formula of the amino acids from which it is formed. So if you're given 3 amino acids like this, you need to recognize where the water molecules are coming off in a condensation reaction and remove them. And then you need to recreate the peptide or amide links between the amino acids. Okay, I'd like you to get a piece of paper and a pencil, copy the structures of these 3 amino acids on the paper, and try to join the 3 amino acids together in a condensation reaction. So pause the video and then in a moment you'll see if you're correct or not. The first thing we need to do is identify the water molecules that are going to be released in a condensation reaction, and it's a good idea to circle them. Then if we remove the water molecules, it's a case of joining the amino groups and the C double bond O groups together to create that peptide link, like so. So you can see that we've got our peptide link here between these 2 amino acids and our peptide link here too. Proteins which do different roles in the body, such as carrying oxygen around in the blood or doing enzyme reactions, are formed by linking together differing sequences of amino acids. So what makes a protein unique is its sequence of amino acids. So here's a protein, a polypeptide chain here, and there's a stretch of amino acids. In this case, these ones are called phenylalanine, leucine, serine, and cysteine. A completely different protein will have a completely different sequence of amino acids present in its polypeptide chain. Our body can't make all the amino acids required for making all the proteins in our bodies, as well as other amino acids which have different functions. So what we need to do is acquire them from our diet. These amino acids that we have to obtain from our diet are known as essential amino acids. So to summarize, essential amino acids are amino acids our body can't make. Therefore we have to get these acids into our body from our diet. Here's an exam paper question asking you to circle a peptide link in the above structure. So if you want, you can pause the video and see if you can draw any of the peptide links on a piece of paper. Now there's more than one acceptable answer in this because there's more than one peptide link in the structure. A peptide link is a C double bond O NH together. We've got one here, 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 and here. So any one of those 5 would be acceptable in an exam. Here is a question testing that you know the definition of an essential amino acid. So pause the video and see if you get the right answer. The correct answer is B. So essential amino acids are amino acids which humans must acquire through their diet. This is a summary of the learning outcomes covered in this video for the first part of proteins. There will be a second video on proteins looking at hydrolysis and structure.